Hey everybody, C.Ray Brower here with Your Perfect Home. I am with Marilyn Chapman, and we are going to find out more about her and what she does coming up next. And here we are back. Marilyn, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. So you used to be here, now you're in Southern California.
Actually, the Central Coast.
Central Coast,
Yes.
okay.
Not quite SoCal, just the Central Coast.
Can't beat the Central Coast at all, can you?
I'm very blessed. I love being by the beach and the ocean air, and I don't miss the hot weather.
I can appreciate that. I've definitely left here a few times when it was 100 and coming on, and got over there and just almost had to put a coat on.
Yes, exactly. You have to do layered clothes around here.
Yeah, exactly. So how long have you been over there?
Well, I moved here 2 years ago. Well, August will be 2 years ago.
Okay.
I lived in Stockton, and my mom has lived in a little town called Napomo, and she's lived here for about 17 years, my mom and my stepdad. And I moved here because we were all working from home. Everything was kind of closed down. And as you know, my clientele are my real estate agents that I work with.
Right.
So since we weren't meeting in person, it was a perfect opportunity for my husband and I to live close to mom and be here to help her and my stepdad.
How nice is that?
And I am still your rep, and I still go to Stockton and Modesto, and I still get to enjoy the hot days, but then drive back home to the cooler weather.
Very, very nice.
Yes.
So I met you the first time. I'd actually been working with you the first time when I was at Keller Williams 6 years ago.
Wow.
And I don't think you were actually active then. I think I was because you were dealing with your survivor.
Yes. Wow. That's when I was going through. Is it okay if I talk about what I'm a survivor of?
Yeah.
So I had breast cancer in 2008 for the first time. I was 39 years old. And so now if you do the math, you're going to figure out how old I am now. And I had a single mastectomy, chemotherapy, took the drugs that you take afterwards for 7.5 years. And so you're talking about 6 years ago is when it came back, and it metastasized in my system, into my bones, into my chest cavity. I was very blessed to find it when we did, because it stopped. We were able to stop it from spreading even more. And so went through chemo again. And another blessing is I'm still in treatment, but it's monthly treatment, and they call it target treatment.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have to do chemo, obviously grew my hair back, and don't have to go through the harsh chemical of treatment, but I am in 2 different types of target treatment all these years later, and just did scans again in April, and everything's still looking great. My cancer's kept at bay. Because they've just come so far with breast cancer treatment.
Yeah.
So that was a time I was, just getting through those treatments and working, what I could. And I worked with an amazing company that supported me, and I had my work colleagues backing up when I needed them. And then I was able to jump back in as soon as I was done with the harsh treatment, because, unlike you, C.Ray, we love our job. We love to work. Yeah. So that's kind of what got me through it, to be honest with you, besides my amazing husband and family,
right,
and friends, work. I enjoy my work. So I was looking forward to getting back to work when I did.
That's wonderful. That's one thing that I've always really admired about you is your positive attitude and your faith.
Yes.
Your faith in God and your friends and family just amazes me. And I truly, you're one of my favorite people ever.
Oh, thank you, C.Ray. Well, I'm happy to say the same thing about you.
There ain't a lot of good to say about me most of the time.
Oh, well, then you've been hiding stuff from me because I can't think of anything not good.
Well, you want me to bring my wife in and she'll
No,
let you know.
I know. I'm sure she would only say wonderful things.
Yeah. Well, great. So when we met, you were selling home warranties, and now you do JCP-LGS. What does
Disclosures.
JCP-LGS stand for?
Well, that's a good question. JCP stands for James C. Pendergrast, and it's been about 45 years ago now that he was a broker, real estate broker, and in California, the seller is required to disclose things about the home and the area around the home to the buyer.
Right.
And so he said, instead of the seller having to do all the legwork to disclose this stuff for the buyers, how about we create a third-party company that can do the legwork for us? And of course, we have maps in California that we use. The natural hazard disclosure includes 2 zones for the flood, 2 zones for fire, and 2 zones for earthquake. And we use FEMA flood maps. We use CAL FIRE fire maps. And so we do have, we have tools that we use for that, the basic parts of the natural hazard disclosure, but we disclose a lot more than that. We disclose if there's pipelines around the home, if they're in a right to farm area. There's long list, as you know, of other items that we're disclosing. And so, sorry about my dog, darn it.
We knew we wouldn't get away with it.
There's somebody at the door. So when JCP was acquired by First American in Northern California, we were smart and we kept the name JCP because people would order a natural hazard disclosure, or the acronym is NHD. People would say, I need to order a JCP instead of saying an NHD, because it's like a household name. You know how we say Band-Aid or Kleenex?
Right.
It doesn't always mean you're talking about that name brand. That's just what we call it, right? So we've called it JCP for all these years, and we kept it JCP when First American acquired them. We also bought a company, LGS. So that's why you see JCP-LGS Disclosures. And then in Southern California, they still tend to call us First American Natural Hazard Disclosures, because we don't have that relationship of JCP in their minds the way we do in Northern California.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Great. Well, that's interesting. Yeah. So I just, you serve the Central Valley mostly, but living on the Central Coast. How often do you get over here? Because I haven't seen you forever.
I know. Well, I've come out a couple times a month. I come for events when a lot of real estate agents are going to be there, so I can see as many people at one time.
Yeah.
You know, things are still different where we don't go office to office the way we used to. I think people are still, you know, being cautious as much as possible, right?
Right.
And I think a lot of realtors have started working from home. I'm seeing a home office behind you, right?
Yeah. Right. You and me both. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, we've got our home offices. And so things, you know, I've been doing this for almost 25 years, and people would never dream of working from home before. They didn't have Wi-Fi. They didn't have, you know, you had to use your office phone lines, etc.
Right.
So now we're also mobile, that so it doesn't make sense to be there on a daily basis the way we used to and go office to office.
Right.
And as you mentioned, I also used to sell home warranty. I was with First American Home Warranty for all these years. However, when I did make the move to the Central Coast, and when things opened up, then Jamie Eager, who is your local rep, she lives there in Modesto, and she's been in the home warranty industry for over 30 years. And I always tease her and say she must have started when she was like 10 years old because she looks amazing. So she does only home warranty. However, they allowed me to still be your NHD rep. So now I only do your natural hazard disclosures, and she's only doing your home warranty. So a little switch around about what we do, but it's the same company, the same parent company, First American. Right. So we work together very closely. You'll see we sponsor things together. We're on your associations together as a team. And I know you've got some picnics in the park coming up for each of the little you've got Stockton, you got Tracy, you've got Modesto and Lodi. And so I'll show up to things like that where I can have the opportunity to see a whole bunch of you at one time.
Great.
Right.
Great.
And then come back to the cool weather when I'm done.
There you go. Either that or I'll come over there to see you.
You're always welcome to. Yes.
Well, I know most of your business is done with us realtors.
Yes.
But I know that there's also some for sale by owners out there that probably can use you also. So all that stuff that's been scrolling at the bottom for you for sale by owners out there, this is a person you want to talk to. Marilyn is wonderful. She will get you taken care of. You can get hold of her with that contact information below. And if you want to say it out loud so people can hear it too.
Thank you. Absolutely. So Marilyn Chapman, and my phone number is area code 805-574-5573. My email address is mjchapman, CHAPMAN, at firstam.com. And that's spelled out FIRSTAM.com. And I will remind you, especially for the people who aren't using a realtor, like you mentioned, or for sale by owner, it's really important to order your report right up front. And that way you get to see all the details you need to see about your home before you share it with the buyer, right? We also include taxes. And in California, it's required to order the natural hazard disclosure plus the taxes. Right. And we're going to give you a lot of information that you'll need to see in our tax portion of our report. However, you don't pay for our report until it closes escrow. So you're really ordering it up front with no risk because you're not paying for it yet, right?
Yep.
And if for some reason you change your mind, you back out, you decide not to sell the house after all, maybe the buyer comes in requesting a different company, whatever reason, if you needed to cancel, you just let me know and I'd cancel the billing.
Right.
We're confident that almost everybody keeps the report, but sometimes it doesn't work out and that's okay too. So you're still not paying for it until you're closing escrow and you're decided to keep our report. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Very, awesome. Very nice. And seeing just how you gave your email out, I have been wondering for a long time, what's the J?
My middle initial, Jean.
Okay. Because my C is Carrie, so.
There you go. I always wanted that too. C.Ray.
C.Ray. Yeah.
Carrie Ray. That makes sense.
Yeah.
When I was just home warranty before, I was M. Chapman at First AM. And then when we did the change, we had to do a brief stop of the email. So that's why we had to add my middle initial. So I still get the old ones forwarded to me, thank God, because I would hate to lose out on people trying to reach me and not being able to. But my actual email, they added the middle initial J. So
very good.
You use your middle name as more. You use your first name, just the initial, and then your middle name, Ray, right?
I that's a really long story, and I won't get into that whole story here today. Someday somebody will ask me, or I'll get together with you in person because it's a long story.
Gotcha.
But I went by Ray for a long time. I was Raymond at home because my dad is V. Ray.
Oh, okay.
And that's part of the long story. So Dad's V. Ray, but he went by Ray. I wanted to be Ray, but I couldn't be Ray because Dad was Ray. So I became Raymond at home. I always introduced myself as Ray, but I signed my name C.Ray.
Okay.
And a good friend of mine came into my transmission shop years ago. And I come out of the back room. He's standing there. I said, Robbie, what are you doing? What can I do for you today? He says, can I see Ray to get my kid's car fixed? Because he broke it. And I went, you can see Ray to get your kid's car fixed, and I'm stealing that shit.
Yes, there you go. You want to sell a house, C.Ray.
So now it's C.Ray to find your perfect home. It was C.Ray to get natural gas and propane. It was C.Ray to get your floor cover. I've done a multitude of things, but since he gave that to me, I definitely have taken full advantage.
I love that. That makes sense. I love it. But you've been in the real estate industry for quite some time.
6 years.
Yeah, 6 years.
6 years. I get told all the time, I thought you'd been in this a lot longer.
Well, because your knowledge, you've just always carried so much knowledge. I've watched you mentor and help many other realtors because you know what you're doing. And real estate isn't for everybody. A lot of people get their license and realize it's not quite what they thought it was going to be. It's a lot of work behind the scenes that people don't realize.
Don't even understand. Don't even
a lot
think
of unpaid
about.
work, right?
And,
a lot of work that you don't get paid for. So, but you've got your knowledge and your experience, and you grew really fast, where a lot of people take many years to get to where you got so fast. So that's probably why you seem like you've been doing it for so long.
Well, part of it is I started in construction. So I've worked on houses from the street underground all the way to the top of the roof. I've done something with the house. Everything except kick in carpet. I never thought that looked like a lot of fun, so I never did that. But other than that, about everything in a house I've touched, done, worked on, got paid for, done myself, whatever. So that definitely helped. And then selling transmission repair definitely got me over any kind of thoughts of worrying about asking somebody what they wanted or how they wanted it, and providing the benefits rather than the cost and rather than the downside of anything. So I guess that's all led to where I am today. Thank the Lord.
That makes sense.
Thank the Lord.
If I'm either buying or selling my home, I could see a huge advantage of having my realtor really understand the bones about the house too, not just how cute the couch looks in that room and where you're going to hang your TV. Right. So buying and selling, it's a huge benefit. And then, like you said, you've always been really good at knowing what questions to ask, not being afraid to ask, and getting the details all up front. And by doing that, you're saving a lot of headaches or delays at the end, right?
Yep. Exactly.
So I can see that you're able to take your experience from one industry and move it into this industry.
Move it into a different one. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, makes sense.
Well, very good, Marilyn. I really appreciate you coming on today. Again, anybody needs anything with their natural hazards disclosures, get hold of Marilyn. And you all go out and be the sunshine in somebody. Oh, got the puppy back.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sammy wanted to say goodbye to you.
There you go. There you go. But you all go out and be the sunshine in somebody's rainy day. And if you need anything in the world, you can call me, C.Ray, to find your perfect home at 209-610-6075. Everybody, have a great day.